Oh yeah, what is the Ténéré Travel Trophy?
The idea of the Ténéré Travel Trophy started in Africa while Martin and I were traveling on our Ténérés. And we wanted to do something with the community, as while we were traveling we realized how big the Ténéré community is, especially after the Ténéré 700 got launched.
On this trip with Jessica in Africa, we experienced the ultimate feeling of freedom, and I think that's what a lot of adventure riders these days are looking for.
That's when we came up with the idea to organize the Ténéré Travel Trophy. And of course, not everyone can take a half year or a year off.
But what we can do is bring this feeling towards Europe, closer at home, and making it more accessible.
So we packed it a little bit smaller.
With the Ténéré Travel Trophy, we bring Ténéré riders together in 1 week full of adventure.
Where you have the feeling of freedom, be with like-minded people and just have a good time together.
I started driving a motorbike for the first time in Colombia. I went backpacking in Colombia, and it's a country that is crazy about motorbikes. And I always loved road tripping and experiencing the freedom of road tripping. And that's when I knew I wanted to, I needed motorbikes in my life.
Motorcycle travel. My first memory, when I was 16, I rode with 3 friends on mopeds, 50cc mopeds, from Berkshire in the UK down to the New Forest. It was probably all of about 50 or 60 miles. Plastic bags with all our clothes and tents in on the tank in front of us, and that's how we travelled in those days.
Yes, so we saw the event last year. We saw the after movie actually from last year, and it just looked awesome. Just the whole thing, just days long, and it's all Ténéré riders, so it looked loads of fun. And it felt like a really good sort of introduction to sort of like you're gonna do something that's real off-roading, real touring, but still you get loads of other people who are first-time beginners or who have loads of experience, and I felt like probably if something went wrong, then you can always have, there's enough people who are doing the exact same thing as you are.
He's a bit the leader, and also the navigator. And I'm the slower one. He's the better rider.
I visited the motorbeurs in Utrecht. Yeah, I got talking to Jessica, and she actually made me very excited about the trip. Hearing about the stories and the opportunity that it would give me to try off-roading on this big motorbike now for the first time, it made me feel much more secure to do this in an organized way.
From the description, it looked like exactly the kind of riding that I like to do. It's a mixture of off-road and on-road, with a slight off-road bias, not too technical, with a group of people with similar interests.
1 year of preparation has gone into this event, but during the week you cannot do it only with the 2 of us. So we are really happy with the team we have with us this week. We are with a team of 19 people who joined us. We're here together with the team from Yamaha, and they have instructors with them, and they have mechanics with them, and of course we have a media crew, we have volunteers with us, so we have such a great team to manage this whole week.
Welcome to Zeltplatz Hammermühle in Bayern. We are preparing Ténéré Town.
Today we have to unload 75 bikes from Mol. We came yesterday. We're all lining them up for the participants. So it will be much fun. It will be much fun.
I have the ready to start sticker. And we go there. If we've checked the number plate and if the starting number and the names are correct.
20 bikes down, 50 more to go.
Won't be long. I'm there before the setting sun. for you to fall into my arms.
Well, I wanted to have a motorbike with off-road capabilities, but I also wanted to have a motorbike that could go along with traffic in Europe. And through that search, I just figured that the Ténéré would be the motorbike for that.
I've had my Ténéré for 2 years now, and in that time I don't think there's a better bike that will cope with the things that I like to do. It's uncomplicated, no traction control or anything like that to worry about. There's a couple of buttons and it just does what you want it to do. It does everything that I ask it to do.
We are open for about 1 hour now and the first participants arrived. They're already pitching their tents. The atmosphere is good already. So we are looking forward to an amazing week again.
I have an idea what to expect because I'd done the trophy last year, so I'm starting to get excited already because I can see the tents being set up, I can see the Ténéré town signs. I've been looking forward to this for a long time now, and it's starting to really come together.
Welcome, Ténéré riders! We have 13 nationalities here amongst us. We have people from South Africa, Austria, Germany, France, Czech Republic, Brazil, India, Switzerland, Poland, United Kingdom, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands.
Oh, zo, goedemorgen. Ik hoorde je niet, man.
Life is good in Ténéré town. Very good.
I think the experience day is one of my favourite days of the trophy because it's a chance to meet everybody, to get together, to talk.
Hello, I'm Marcus from the Motorsportverein Warting, and I welcome you all here to our club and to our track. And we are here in the middle of Bavaria. We have abilities for driving motocross, a little enduro, and moto trial.
Today is more about the techniques, just the theoretical part of standing up on the motorcycle, how we're gonna ride off-road, and how we're gonna take the courses today, and then especially of course off-roading and with the correct techniques.
Peter is going to do the training on the grass track, and we have the Pole terrace track. I will stand nearby and give some tips how to get up, because it's a little slippery, little rocks, and most people you don't find it in the Netherlands.
There is a lot of help and and also trainers around that can teach you a little bit. So it really prepares you for the travels, but it also is an opportunity to get to know everybody because everybody's in the same place. While during the travels, everybody's traveling in little subgroups.
I like the sort of to have like a day just to get to know people and to sort of get to know the bike a bit more. And we had some off-road experience, but it's good to have different levels.
I'm not sure which came first, whether I first heard about pole towers or whether I first heard about the Ténéré. I think when I was looking around for a Ténéré, if you do any sort of research, his name comes up because the things that he does with the bike is just unbelievable.
Honestly, it's really nice to see all these kind of people with the Ténéré. It means that we are doing a really nice work, and of course I'm really proud of Yamaha to put all these kind of riders here in this event, so really nice one. The Ténéré is unique. What we have in this bike is impossible to have it in another brands, and another big part of that is the community too. So in other brands you are one more, and here you are important. So it's what it means Yamaha. It feels you important, and I think it's the most nice that they can give you.
So actually I didn't know who he was before, and it was announced that he would be part of the Experience Day. And through that, I started indeed researching him, or like I started looking online on Instagram, like who is this Poltaris? And well, I mean, I didn't need to dig very deep to come to the conclusion that he is like the example of, in the Ténéré world of how to drive this motorbike. So, and I instantly became a fan.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pole on YouTube, but to see it in real is it's really unbelievable.
It's insane because he makes the thing look like it's nothing, like it just jumps out of itself.
It's a little dirt bike. It's a sort of MTB or something. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like when we're riding, I feel the exact same way until you see footage of yourself and think, that's nowhere near him.
So what's your tactics of getting it dry again?
Praying. A lot of praying. Even I'm not a believer, still praying, you never know.
Just turn off your brain completely and just don't think about it, and stuff it all together and then put even more force on it in the back to put it all in. Because at home it was already a struggle and now it was almost demolishing, but everything works and everything is in. So we are ready for the ride.
See you in South Austria.
So, are you ready for the rain? Yep, definitely 100% ready.
Yeah, there's one thing riding in nice weather for 250 kilometers on the German Autobahn. It's another thing riding when it's wet and you've got the rain, you've got the spray from the traffic.
cold, misty, a lot of fog. But for me, I loved it. Like it makes it a true challenge. Even though maybe there were not the views that that we hoped for, I really had to rely on like the braking light of Stanley, but like that was driving just ahead of me. Because I didn't have my own navigational system. If it would light up, then I knew, okay, I also need to brake now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that memory will be with me forever, riding up the Grossglockner.
At one point, you're glad that you've reached the top. And then the downward path was a bit drier, so you could just take it more easy and just, yeah.
And the roads were more dry over there.
Well, we had a lovely view of like all the mist there.
I like riding on the mountain roads when the weather's good, and the hairpins and the switchbacks. It's great fun, but I think, given a choice, I prefer the gravel roads.
I was very excited. I couldn't wait to start, but I also was kind of a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure if I would be up for the challenge. Because I never took like this big of a motorbike off-road before. I didn't know like what level of off-roading was expected of me, so I was quite nervous, but also excited.
So I've got good news for you. Towards Croatia, the rain is getting warmer.
Every country was the first time we flew a motorcycle here in this tour. Yeah. So that's really cool that we got to see all those places.
Slovenia and Croatia were totally new, which was also definitely a part of the reason why why I had so much interest in joining.
We drove 500 kilometers on the road through rain, and then we'd reached Slovenia and we had these off-road tracks which were really nice, really good.
That's what I really like on the Ténéré, to ride all those beautiful gravel tracks and in super nice nature. We've seen a lot of nice forests. And,
But it's always cool to sort of go to a lot of places. Like you don't have to be somewhere, be the first, but it's cool to see that you've been there the first in a while. And if you're just doing like regular road riding, then you're just a tourist sort of. And you're still a tourist, but it feels a bit more special because you go to places that most tourists won't go.
Tomorrow we have sun, all day. Yes. It's all between the ears. When you have sun in the mind, it doesn't get crazy enough, huh?
I love being in nature. I'm not really much of a city person. So I love going to places in nature where you cannot really come easily, where you cannot go easily by your car, and with a motorbike you can. I also love hiking for that same reason, but it feels very powerful to go to like those places on a motorbike.
So that afternoon was a really nice ride, and we arrived at Ténéré town. The weather was good for once, and I even managed to get my washing line out and dry out some of my clothes. I think there was some optimism that maybe we'd seen the worst of the weather, although probably a bit too soon. But yeah, it was a good atmosphere. Clothes hung up everywhere, from every tree, everything. Anywhere there was possible to hang something to dry, there was something hung there.
The day was great. It started a bit bad because of the weather, but after that, the sun was shining. It was pretty fun. Between the bikes, it was fun.
So, about today.
Less rain than yesterday. It has to be. It cannot be a different way.
You share his opinion.
I do.
We're going to follow the sun.
There it is. The coastline to the south.
I mean, honestly, the rain didn't bother me that much, but obviously I prefer sunshine too. I think it was really magical how those two moments came together. Like the first time that we could have a view on the sea, and that it was also the first time that the sun really came out and came out to greet us.
The trails were really nice and the views were unbelievable. Lots of gravel, lots of stones, and you could see the Croatian islands. You could see the islands over on your right, and you could see for miles. You could see the Adriatic. Views were amazing. There was nobody about. It felt like you were in the middle of nowhere. You felt like you were the only one around. That's what I like about being on the bike and being out on the trails.
On the bike, it's way more active. You feel like you're sort of more there, and because if you're traveling by car, then most of the time you're just doing the road and just following the road to certain destinations. But because you're sort of lighter on a motorcycle, you can choose more weird paths and more smaller paths. And if you do, for example, like a bicycle, then you don't get to do the same distances. So I feel like it's a very good blend, being like really still sort of small, but still getting to see a lot.
there's definitely points where suddenly you have a spectacular view, and then you also see that everybody is slowing down. I mean, so it's really like a combination of being able to enjoy the scenery, but also like I think everybody, including me, also has this drive to push themselves. So it's balancing. Sometimes you just really feel into the flow, and then you just don't want to stop, and you just want to go, go, go. And other times, like the view is just that spectacular that you just have to take a moment, and you have to just enjoy the views for a minute, and even just stop, put the bike on the side, and just make some pictures.
Oh.
Great.
Amazing, yes.
It was
Very
a great day.
yes.
Great day.
Very challenging.
Cold on the end.
What do you prefer? Having a wet tent during the night or having rain during the stage while riding?
Well, at night. Like I don't mind the tent getting wet as long as it's dry in the morning.
Me too.
Yeah.
Today I slept wonderful. I had 2 extra layers on. I wasn't cold yesterday. I barely slept. But today's a good day.
That's good.
I'm sure the sun will shine at some point. Even if it's for 5 minutes.
When you run out, need to get unstuck, so golf. When you're up against the wall and you cannot fall, so golf.
I loved it. I enjoyed it. Like for me, this was like the moment where I was absolutely thankful for all the rain that we had, because it turned this track into basically a river, as you said. And no, I fully enjoyed it. I never had ridden through so much water before, especially not on my Ténéré. So it was a great experience, and it turns out that I really love water. I don't know what we're made of, but it's not sugar.
Very nice. Everything's wet. It is waterproof.
Cooling up, eh? But if it's raining, you still are thirsty.
So you are refueling, Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's enough?
Yeah, every time a new obstacle, yeah, that's good. Part of the adventure.
I think I'd gotten used to it by then. Yeah, it's no fun packing everything up in the wet and getting dressed up in your wet gear that's still damp from the night before. Yeah, it was a bit demoralising, but you know, you're heading south, you know the weather, it's got to get better one day, you've got to have some luck. So the only thing you can do is get your packed up, get your gear on and start riding. You can only get so wet, and then you can't get any wetter, so yeah, you just have to make the best of it and get through it.
The gravel roads, yeah, I thought they were fantastic with all the mountains and.
It's so different from the Netherlands, because Netherlands it's flat, and the most difficult terrain you can get here is sand and mud. But there you can go up and down, and you get the gravel, you get mud, you get sand, you get all types of terrain. and it just looks so different. I like the feeling sort of like just being sort of on an adventure and just riding about. And, yeah.
You want to go back and tell friends about places that they've probably never been to, never will go to. So there's an element of going somewhere unusual, somewhere off the beaten track, somewhere where most tourists don't go.
Everything during the whole day is a highlight. The traveling itself is a highlight, but also indeed arriving at the Ténéré town, it just feels like, you've arrived at home. It's like somehow you really bond really quickly when sharing such experiences. So it really feels like you're home again. You see all the people, you hear all the different stories of people, how they experience the day. I think it's just the combined event of going with 150 riders that all love the same motorbike, that all love the same style of driving, that all love like the off-roading part. I think it's more like the feeling of that community.
Yeah, whenever I think of that week, I think of the rain, but that last day had making up for all the rain we'd had that week.
Yeah, we enjoyed it so far, and we learned not to take these days for granted.
After one day of good weather, you forget a lot. And
Yeah.
I would like to do some days more of riding in the sun.
Yeah.
We're out of fuel. Last fuel stop was a lot of kilometers ago.
Ja, komt het je flesje, Ruud? Ja, ja. Ja, komt ie. I forgot my camelback on food when we had food that we had eaten. So, but it was 25 kilometers before I come after that I missed it.
And somebody took it maybe?
No, I drive back.
Oh, you drive back?
So I have 50 kilometers more than
we waited.
my friends.
Cheers, guys.
On one hand, you feel like very proud of yourself for accomplishing, but then at the same time, you don't want it to end.
There's always a feeling of accomplishment. We crossed the line, we picked up a medal. You feel like you've really accomplished something.
Yeah, I felt accomplished. I felt really proud of myself because when I started, I was really doubting, and I actually didn't think it was going to be possible for me to drive all of the off-road parts. And I told myself when I started, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it my best.
I think it's one of the best adventures I've had in my life, and doing that with lots of other people, with like-minded people, and then being able to, after a day riding, to discuss everything. That was incredible last year. So when they told us there was a new edition at countries where I have never been, it was not so hard to decide that I wanted to go again. So we're curious what's on the program for next year.
Awesome week, really fun, lots of learnings and great experience overall.
I did my driving test at Christmas and I seen the Ténéré Trophy from last year online and I said, that looks pretty cool. So, very good week, very happy, really enjoyable, great people, great food, great tracks, or great routes I should say. Yeah.
Most adventure riders want to get out there, feel the freedom, experience adventurous moments together, go off the beaten track, into the nature, and that's what we try to provide with the Ténéré Travel Trophy.
We really hope that people look back at this week and besides the rain, just still have this big smile, which I see constantly around us, to have this feeling of freedom and being around like-minded people and just have a good time while you ride all the scenic roads during the week.
Do it. The only way to figure out if you're able to do so or not is to give it a try.
Get a Ténéré and just go.
Absolutely, get a Ténéré.
Yeah.
Smart fun.
What else do you need?